The night was quiet, but the air felt heavy. A young man stood alone on a dirt path. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. Around him, the world was full of pressure, the sound of wind, the weight of fear, the thought of death. Most men, in this moment, would feel their heart race, their hands would shake, their mind would run in many directions. But Musashi stood still. He did not move. He did not rush. He did not show fear. This was strange. Pressure breaks most people. Pressure makes them panic. Pressure makes them weak. But Musashi looked calm, as if nothing around him mattered. This was not luck. This was not talent. This calm came from a forbidden method. Musashi was not born strong. He did not come from a powerful family. He did not have great teachers at the start. He was not respected. In fact, many people thought he was strange. While other boys trained fast and showed strength, Musashi stayed quiet. He watched. He listened. He learned that other warriors talked loudly. They showed anger. They showed pride. Musashi showed nothing. People laughed at him. They said, "He is slow. He is weak. He will break under pressure." Musashi heard these words, but he did not react, because Musashi understood something very important. Pressure is not outside. Pressure is inside the mind. One day, Musashi watched a duel. Two skilled warriors stood face to face. The crowd was loud. The tension was high. Both men had sharp swords. Both had trained for years. But when the duel began, something changed. One man attacked fast. His face was full of anger. His breath was heavy. The other man hesitated. His eyes moved too much. His hand shook. In just a few moments, the fight ended. Not because of skill, not because of strength, but because pressure took control of the mind. Musashi saw everything. He did not look at the swords. He looked at their faces, their breath, their eyes. He learned a deep lesson that day. When the mind loses control, the body follows. That lesson stayed with him forever. As Musashi grew older, the pressure grew stronger. Every duel was a risk. Every fight could be his last. Fear followed him everywhere. But Musashi did not fight fear. He studied it. He asked himself a question no one else asked. Why does pressure control people? The answer was simple. People think too much. They imagine losing. They imagine pain. They imagine death. Their mind runs faster than their body. Musashi decided to do the opposite. Instead of thinking more, he learned to think less. Instead of reacting fast, he learned to wait. This was the beginning of his forbidden method. Before fights, other warriors trained their bodies. Musashi trained his mind. He sat alone in silence. He watched his breath. He allowed thoughts to come and go. He did not fight his thoughts. He did not follow them. Slowly, his mind became calm, very calm, so calm that pressure had no place to stay. When fear came, he watched it. When doubt came, he ignored it. This was dangerous knowledge, because a calm mind under pressure is more powerful than any sword. One evening, Musashi was challenged. The opponent was known for strength, for speed, for anger. People whispered, "Musashi will not survive." Musashi heard the crowd. He felt the tension, but inside, there was silence. The opponent shouted. He moved fast. He tried to scare Musashi. Musashi did nothing. He stood still. This confused everyone. Why was he not attacking? Why was he not afraid? The opponent rushed forward. In one clean movement, Musashi stepped aside. The fight ended in seconds. No wasted motion. No panic. No emotion. The crowd went silent. They did not understand what they had seen. Musashi had not fought the man. He had waited until pressure defeated the opponent first. That day, people started to fear Musashi, not because he was violent, but because he was calm. They realized something important. You cannot control a man who controls himself. This was the power of Musashi's method, a method never written clearly, a method never taught openly, because if everyone learnt it, fear would lose its power. Musashi knew. Pressure would always exist. He did not try to escape it. He welcomed it, because pressure shows truth. It shows who panics. It shows who reacts. It shows who is controlled. And it shows who is free. Musashi chose freedom, not freedom from danger, but freedom from fear. As the years passed, Musashi faced stronger enemies. The pressure increased. The risk increased. But his calm stayed the same. People began to talk about him in whispers. They said, he never rushes. He never panics. He never breaks. They did not know his secret. They did not know that before every fight, Musashi made one decision. I will not let pressure decide for me. This was only the beginning. The world would soon see that Musashi's greatest weapon was not his sword. It was his mind under pressure, and the forbidden method he followed would change every battle he faced. But the question remains, how did Musashi control his mind when everyone else lost theirs? That answer comes next. Pressure does not arrive suddenly. It grows slowly. Miyamoto Musashi learned this early in his life. He saw strong men fail, not because they lacked skill, but because their mind collapsed before their body did. Most warriors believed the sword decided the fight. Musashi believed something else. He believed the fight was decided inside the mind. Long before the first move, Musashi traveled from village to village. He did not travel for fame. He did not travel for praise. He traveled to observe people under pressure. He watched fighters before duels. He watched their hands. He watched their eyes. Some men talked too much. Some laughed loudly. Some stayed angry. Musashi saw the same pattern every time. When pressure came, their mind became noisy. Too many thoughts. Too much fear. Too much ego. And when the mind is noisy, it cannot see clearly. One day, Musashi met an old warrior. The man had many scars. His body was weak, but his eyes were calm. Musashi respected this. He sat with the old warrior in silence. After a long time, Musashi asked one question. Why do strong men lose control when it matters most? The old warrior smiled. He said, because they tried to fight pressure instead of understanding it. That answer stayed in Musashi's mind. Most people think pressure is the enemy. They try to escape it. They try to remove it, Musashi realized. This was a mistake. Pressure is not the enemy. Reaction is the enemy. When pressure appears, the mind reacts. Fear speaks. Doubt grows. Thoughts run fast. The body follows the mind. Musashi decided to stop reacting. Before every duel, before every dangerous moment, Musashi did something strange. He slowed down. While others rushed, he waited. While others tensed, he relaxed. People thought this was weakness, but Musashi was doing something powerful. He was creating space inside his mind. Space where fear could not stay long. Musashi began testing himself. He placed himself in uncomfortable situations, cold nights, hunger, loneliness, not to suffer, but to understand his own reactions. When fear came, he watched it. When anger rose, he stayed silent. Slowly, he learned something important. Feelings lose power when you do not obey them. During one journey, Musashi faced a group of aggressive fighters. They insulted him. They tried to provoke him. Any normal warrior would react. But Musashi did not. He stood quietly. This made them angry. They attacked. Musashi moved with calm precision. The fight ended quickly. Later, one man asked him, "Why did you not get angry?" Musashi replied, "Anger gives control to the other person." That sentence explained everything. Musashi understood pressure works in one simple way. Pressure creates emotion. Emotion clouds the mind. A clouded mind makes mistakes. So instead of fighting pressure, Musashi removed emotion from the moment, not by force, but by awareness. He trained his breath every day. Slow breath, deep breath. When breath is calm, the mind follows. He trained his eyes not to jump quickly, not to panic. He trained his thoughts not to chase every idea, not to imagine defeat. This training was invisible. No one clapped for it. No one praised it. But it made Musashi dangerous. Other warriors depended on confidence. Musashi depended on clarity. Confidence can break. Clarity stays. When pressure increases, confidence shakes. But clarity grows stronger. One duel changed everything. Musashi faced a warrior known for speed. The man attacked without pause, move after move. The crowd thought Musashi would fall, but Musashi stayed calm. He did not match speed with speed. He matched speed with timing. One small step, one clean strike. The fight ended. People were shocked. They asked, "How did you stay calm?" Musashi did not answer, because the answer was dangerous. He knew if people learned this truth hookup, fear would lose control over them. Pressure would lose its power. That is why the method stayed hidden, passed only through silence, through observation, through discipline. Musashi believed something deeply. A man who controls his mind under pressure can control any situation. This belief guided every step he took. As his name spread, so did the pressure. More challenges, more danger, more expectations. But Musashi stayed the same. Calm, quiet, present. He did not carry the past. He did not fear the future. He stayed in the moment. Pressure cannot survive in the present moment. It only lives in imagined outcomes before sleep. Musashi reflected, not on victory, not on loss, but on his reactions. Did I rush? Did I fear? Did I stay clear? This made his mind sharper every day. Musashi was no longer just a swordsman. He was becoming something else. A man who understood pressure. A man who could stand in chaos without losing himself. But this was still only preparation. The real test was coming. A test where calm would decide life or death, and where one mistake would end everything. The forbidden method was almost complete, but the final step was the hardest, because it required Musashi to let go of even control itself. That step comes next. Chaos is loud. It moves fast. It scares people. It forces them to react. Miyamoto Musashi learned one rare truth. Chaos only wins when the mind moves with it. If the mind stays still, chaos loses power. This was the heart of Musashi's forbidden method. Musashi did not learn this in a school. He learned it alone, in forests, on empty roads, in silent nights, while others trained harder swings and faster attacks. Musashi trained stillness, not stillness of the body, stillness of the mind. One morning, Musashi stood near a river. The water moved fast. Stones stayed still. Musashi watched quietly. The water hit the stones. The water changed direction. The stones did nothing. They did not fight the water. They did not escape. They simply stayed. Musashi smiled. That was the lesson most people think. Control means force. Musashi learned control means not moving without need. Under pressure, the body wants to act fast. The mind wants to decide quickly. Musashi refused both. He waited. Waiting became his weapon. Before duels, Musashi did not imagine victory. He did not imagine defeat. He cleared his mind. No future, no past, only the moment. Pressure cannot live in the moment. Pressure lives in thoughts about what might happen. People noticed something strange. When danger came, Musashi did not tense. His shoulders stayed loose. His breath stayed slow. This confused his opponents. They expected fear. They expected aggression. They met silence. Silence is uncomfortable. Silence makes others rush. One duel became a perfect example. The opponent was famous. Fast hands, sharp eyes, strong ego. Before the fight, the man walked in circles. He shouted. He stared at Musashi. Musashi did not respond. He stood quietly. The crowd felt tension. The opponent attacked suddenly. Fast, violent. Musashi stepped back. Just one step. The opponent missed. That small miss changed everything. The opponent attacked. Again, faster this time. Musashi waited. He watched the breath. He watched the shoulders. He watched the eyes. Then he moved. One clean motion. The fight ended. The crowd was silent. They did not understand. Musashi had moved less, yet controlled everything. This was stillness in chaos, not freezing, not fear, perfect. Awareness without reaction. Musashi practiced this method every day. He stood in storms. He walked in busy places. He allowed noise, movement, and pressure around him. But inside, he stayed calm. He did not block the world. He allowed it to pass through him, like wind through an open door. People asked him, "How do you stay calm when everything is moving?" Musashi said, because I do not follow movement with my mind. That answer sounded simple, but it was dangerous. The forbidden method had 3 parts. Musashi never wrote them. He lived them. First, slow the breath. Fast breath means fear. Slow breath means control. Musashi always returned to breath. When breath was calm, the mind followed. Second, empty the mind, not by force, by letting thoughts pass. Thoughts came. Thoughts left. Musashi did not chase them. Third, wait without weakness. Waiting was not fear. Waiting was confidence. It forced the opponent to act first, and the one who acts first under pressure often makes mistakes. Many warriors could not do this. They needed noise. They needed anger. Musashi needed nothing. That made him dangerous. One night, Musashi faced his hardest test. The opponent was calm, very calm. No shouting, no rushing. For the first time, Musashi felt real pressure. This opponent did not react. They stood facing each other. Silence between them felt heavy. Time moved slowly. This was a battle of minds. Musashi felt thoughts rise. What if he is better? What if I fail? Musashi noticed the thoughts and let them go. He returned to breath, returned to stillness. Pressure tried to enter, but found no place to stay. The opponent moved. First, a small movement. Musashi saw it. His body moved naturally. No thinking, no planning. The fight ended. Musashi realized something powerful. Stillness allows action to come naturally, not forced, not rushed. From that day, Musashi trusted the method fully. He stopped trying to control outcomes. He focused only on presence. When presence is complete, action becomes perfect. This is why the method was forbidden, because it removed fear, because it removed ego, because it made pressure useless. Musashi was no longer just reacting to life. He was responding with clarity, and clarity is unstoppable. But stillness had a price. The more calm Musashi became, the more dangerous his battles became. Stronger enemies came, deadlier. Tests followed. The method would be tested not in skill, but in life or death, and one moment of distraction would end everything. The greatest test was coming, and it would push Musashi's stillness to its limit. Some battles are not about winning, they are about surviving. Miyamoto Musashi knew this. As his name spread, so did the danger. Strong fighters wanted his head. Skilled warriors wanted his reputation. Angry men wanted revenge. Pressure followed him everywhere. But this time, pressure was different. This time, it carried death. Musashi arrived at a small village at dawn. The air was cold. The streets were empty. Something felt wrong. People avoided him. Eyes looked away. Musashi felt it. A trap. He did not panic. He slowed. His breath, a challenger, waited outside the village. Tall, quiet, deadly. This man was not angry. That made him dangerous. No shouting. No ego, just focus. Musashi understood immediately. This would not be easy. The ground was wet. Mist covered the field. Visibility was low. Every sound felt loud. Musashi stood still. He felt his heart beat. He felt fear rise. He did not fight it. He watched. Fear came. Fear passed. The opponent did not move. Minutes passed. Silence grew heavy. The crowd waited. Pressure built. Most men would break. Musashi stayed present. No future. No past. Only now. The opponent suddenly stepped forward. Slow controlled dot. Musashi. Did not react. He waited. Another step. Musashi watched the shoulders, the breath, the feet. This was not speed. This was intention. The opponent attacked, not fast, perfect. Timing. Musashi felt danger close. His body moved without thought. One step back. One turn. Steel passed near his skin. Too close. The crowd gasped. Musashi felt the cold edge of death. For a moment, the mind tried to rush. What if I die? Musashi noticed the thoughts. Let it go. Return to breath. Return to stillness. The opponent attacked again, harder. More pressure. Musashi waited. He did not rush. He did not force. He trusted the method. Suddenly, Musashi saw it. A small opening. Not in the body. In the timing. The opponent committed fully. Musashi moved. One clean strike. The fight stopped. Silence. The opponent fell. The crowd did not cheer. They were shocked. They had seen something rare and true. Under death, Musashi stood. Quietly. He felt his hands shake now. Not during the fight. After that taught him something. Important courage is not the absence of fear. It is action without obeying fear. That night, Musashi sat alone. He reflected, not on victory, on stillness. He realized something deeper. Under extreme pressure, even stillness wants to break. The mind looks for certainty. Musashi gave it none. He stayed. Empty. Words spread fast. Musashi was no longer just skilled. He was feared. Men hesitated before challenging him, not because of his sword, because of his calm. But calm invites envy, and envy creates enemies. Soon, Musashi faced multiple attackers. No duel, no honor, only survival. They attacked together. Chaos. Exploded, noise, movement, confusion. This was the ultimate test. Stillness in chaos. Musashi did not freeze. He did not think. He felt. He moved naturally. Not fast, not slow. Correct. Each movement created space. Each step avoided danger. He did not try to defeat everyone. He tried to stay alive. This changed everything. Pressure could not trap him. When it ended, Musashi escaped, wounded, alive, breathing, still calm. That night, he understood the final truth. The method does not remove danger. It removes panic. And without panic, a man can survive anything. Musashi rested. His body hurt. His mind was clear. He had faced death, and stillness had saved him. But the journey was not over. The greatest challenge was coming. Not a sword, not an enemy, but life itself. Because the hardest pressure is not on the battlefield. It is inside everyday choices. Musashi's method was complete. Now it needed purpose, and that purpose would change how he lived forever. The battles were over. The noise was gone. Miyamoto Musashi walked alone again. No crowd, no enemy, no sword raised. Yet this was the most important part of his journey, because Musashi understood something most warriors never do. The hardest battles are not fought with swords. They are fought inside everyday life. Musashi no longer chased duels. He no longer needed to prove strength. He had already won the most important fight, control under pressure. As he traveled, Musashi watched normal people, farmers working under stress, merchants fearing loss, young men angry at small problems, different lives, same pressure. He saw people break without any enemy. A word, a mistake, a delay, that was enough. Musashi realized pressure had many forms, not just death, but fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing control. Musashi sat near a town one evening. He watched people rush. Everyone was in a hurry. Nobody was present. He remembered his past. He remembered the calm before danger, and he saw clearly. People create pressure by running away. From the moment Musashi began teaching without teaching, he did not give speeches. He lived quietly. People asked him questions. How do you stay calm? How do you decide under stress? Musashi answered simply, return to breath. Do not rush. See clearly. Most people wanted shortcuts. Musashi offered discipline. Few accepted. He believed the method was not special. Anyone could learn it, but not everyone was ready, because the method required letting go of ego, letting go of control, letting go of fear. Musashi understood one deep truth. Pressure does not disappear when life becomes easy. Pressure disappears when the mind becomes steady. In difficult moments, Musashi paused. He did not react immediately. He allowed silence. Silence created clarity. Clarity created right action. This is how Musashi lived. When insulted, he did not react. When praised, he did not chase it. When confused, he waited. Waiting saved him more than speed ever did. People thought Musashi was emotionless. He was not. He felt fear. He felt pain. He felt doubt. The difference was simple. He did not obey those feelings. As years passed, Musashi wrote his thoughts. Not instructions, not rules, observations. He wrote about timing. He wrote about awareness. He wrote about stillness. But the most important lesson was never written. It had to be experienced. That lesson was this: control is not forcing the world. Control is mastering your response to it. Musashi saw people chase control everywhere. They tried to control others. They tried to control outcomes. They tried to control the future. All failed. Musashi controlled only one thing: his mind. One day, a young man asked him, "What should I do when pressure comes?" Musashi answered slowly, "Do less. Breathe." Wait, the young man looked confused. Musashi smiled. Simple does not mean easy. Musashi knew the modern world would be louder, faster, more demanding, but the method would still work. Because The human mind had not changed. Pressure will always test you. Before a decision, before a risk, before a mistake. In that moment, you have a choice: react or respond. Musashi chose response. That is why he never lost control. He believed true strength. It was invisible, no shouting, no anger, no panic, just presence. As Musashi's life came to an end, his legacy remained, not as a warrior, but as a man who understood pressure. He proved one thing clearly: a calm mind under pressure is the greatest weapon anyone can have. You may never fight a duel, but you will face pressure at work, in relationships, in decisions. Remember MUSASHI. Slow the breath. Clear the mind. Wait, because when you control your response, nothing outside can control you. The forbidden method was never about fighting. It was about freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from panic. Freedom from pressure. And that freedom is available to anyone willing to stand still when everything says move.